Okay, this is just a short video about the front drum brake for a Suzuki Gt550J. They also fitted to part of the K and also the 750J and K. It's a twin leading and trailing shoe brake. This short video just to show you what's inside and how to take it apart, and so here I'll start. Well, the first thing you do is take the wheel off the bike. It's probably the best bet. It's not a difficult job. You just take the caps off the bottom of the forks, take the torque arms off which fit here. So to disassemble the actual brake itself, first thing is you've got to take this arm off, which is the connecting arm between the two shoes. Basically, when you pull the brake on, it pulls that lever and it pushes that brake onto that drum and that brake onto that drum, both sides. So it's a very effective bike front brake, especially when it's been set up right. A lot of things are said about these brakes, but if they're set right and with modern linings on the brake shoes themselves, they stop really well. Okay, so the first thing you've got to do to take it apart is to take out the bolts that pinch onto the splines on these shafts here. And there's one for the back and one for the front. Now I don't take these, I don't move these arms when I take them off, because they are adjustable, and you know, if it was working before, it's set at the right thing anyway. So, but anyway, I'll show you how to set that up later anyway. So we take the connecting arm off. Behind there you'll have on the main front arm that's got the actual cable attached to it, there's a spring. It's got a bit there which fits into a hole which is on the side of the shaft, where the shaft comes through the drum, and this part goes round the arm of the brake like this. So basically, once you've applied the brake, it springs it back and returns it to the off position. So that's the spring there. Underneath there you have a washer like that, and then inside there's a groove, and there's an oil seal in there, because this shaft with the splines on it is lubricated to keep it moving, and so it's greased, so this O-ring keeps the grease inside. Okay, so that's that one off. The same on the other side, washer, and then inside there's an O-ring. Okay, so if we stand the wheel up now, this is the bolt that holds the plate on. This is torqued up to a certain set. Obviously I've taken it off for the purposes of the video. So we undo the bolt, the nut that holds it on. This is actually used to clamp it to the fork leg. So next thing that happens is we take off the drum. Okay, the other side will fall out if you... Okay, so now we need to remove the brake shoes. As you can see, it's held by two springs. They're just pulled onto these four cams. So what I do is go to a round one, tip it up on hinge, just click it out where it goes in. Do the same the other side on the other round one. It's a bit, use a bit of force, but off it comes. So there's the brake shoes and the springs in between. So here we have the four cams. Right, the two square ones, not the rounded ones are fixed. The two square ones should come out. Now, they might be difficult coming out because this is where the problems occur usually. These cams get dirty or get seized in the bore there, and they don't turn, so the brake isn't pushing. So take those two out. Obviously I've already took mine out and cleaned them, so I'll just give them a good clean on the outside, make sure everything's as it should be, put them to one side. Right, so here we have the rest of the brake drum. These two rubber things, the stoppers, are just air holes basically. If you're racing, or which a lot of classic racers do, they just take these rubbers out to get more air in to cool it down, because these get quite hot if they're being used a lot under extreme pressure. There is also an air vent on the front here. That can be taken off because it has a grill on the inside. That also helps get more air in. But of course, in everyday use, dust and muck will get in there if you don't have these bunged up. Okay then, so here we have the this is what the axle goes through, and this is actually the speedo drive. Now I've had a problem with this. The drive shaft looks like that. That got damaged. What happens is they get really dirty, and they dry up. There's no grease on it, and it damages the splines on the wheel. This is a new one. So that's the speedo. The speedo goes in from the outside here, and it comes into there like that. Now I'll show you what's on the inside now. So here's the gear that actually drives that spline there. They line up like that. Okay, so that goes on there basically, but there are a few other parts there as well. First of all, there's a thrust washer which goes on. Then this geared spline, the gear that drives it, goes on the top. You'll notice there's two cutouts here that will come in useful in a bit. Okay, so that goes in there. Then we have an oil seal which has got a groove in it. It's a bit sloping on the other side. It goes in with the sloping side in and the groove sticking up. And the idea is once you've put all your gears in, you pack it with as much grease as you can, and then on the top of it, that goes on the top. There's the oil seal goes on there. Next thing that goes in there is the actual drive mechanism. Now you'll see it's actually a rubber seal with like a metal outer on it. So once the actual drive mechanism goes in on top of the geared wheel, you'll notice there's two like splines, two bits sticking out. Now when you put it together, you need to make sure, because the splines have got little inserts on the inside, and the idea is that goes on the top of that and drops into those splines like that, so that it drives when it goes round. Okay. So then we have the thrust washer again, another thrust washer on the top. That goes like that. And then finally there's a circlip that just holds it all in place. Okay.